A very happy Sunday morning to you, wherever you are in the world. We are getting ready for another 45 minutes of rapid racecraft. The Mid-Ohio Sports Car Course playing host for the second time this weekend to the Whelen Mazda MX-5 Cup presented by Michelin. In the IMSA Global Broadcast Centre, I'm John Hindorf. Alongside me is Shea Adam. We'll have a chat with her in just a moment or two's time. Beautiful day. Track temperature sitting at 88 Fahrenheit. In the air, it's 75. That's, if you prefer, track temperature 31 Celsius, because I know we have a huge international audience watching along on the world feed. Air temperature 24 Celsius, just outside Lexington, Ohio. Beautiful part of the world. If you get a chance, come here. It is lovely, it is green, the people love their motorsport. They are very knowledgeable about it as well. And this circuit has just about everything. 3 fast straights, some very quick corners, some big braking areas like at the keyhole. And that one, you helped because you're going uphill. Down to turn 4, you're going downhill at some pace, and my goodness me, getting the car hauled into that right-hander is a bit of a challenge. Then all that twistiness that brings you round through Thunder Valley, back to the carousel and on to the front straight. We'll start halfway down between turns 3 and 4, so coming out the keyhole down to that braking area. We've got 38 cars on the grid. We'll go through those in a moment after we are reminded what happened yesterday in our first 45-minute contest on a very similar, very similar day. Coming to the green flag, the front row going at it and basically setting their stalls out for the rest of the contest. It wasn't the usual Whelen Mazda MX-5 race where the leading 4 or 5 get away. No, right the way through the race, and I think at the end we still had around about 15 cars at the front of the field. Ultimately, it was the number 22, Jeremy Fletcher. His team went wild. He was doing donuts, and he deserved that. Timed his run to the front absolutely perfectly. He'll start in 7th position today. Let's see, where are we? Let's see how far we can get through. Logan Stretch at the back with Will Robinson, then Ruben Caceres, Charlotte Trainer, Brian Dombrowski, then Joe Rainey, Ellie Gossett, Damon Oakey, Ryan Leach, Ben Jacobs, Michael Odell, one of half the field of rookies, by the way. He's one of them. Will Hyman in 27th position. Then we've got Emilio Deloro, Cam Eben, Massimo Sunseri, and still they come because it's a huge field. The time, by the way, will start once they come past the finish line for the first time. Christian Hodenland with Luke Pullen, the young Brit who's just starting in this championship. He'll start down in 22nd, started 11th yesterday, finished in the top 20. Can he go forward today? Vaughan Mishko, Tristan McKee, John Salerno, Nathan Nicholson, and then Parker DeLong on row 8. Frankie Barroso, rookie championship leader, was yesterday. We'll get the points from Shea in a minute. Marcello Panicia in 15th. Gresham Wagner on the outside of row 7. Matt Novak is alongside. The two Ethans are tied together again as they start the timing, but not the races yet. The two Ethans are Tyler and Lampe in row 6. Ethan had a cracking run through. Grant West is in the pit lane, and I haven't even got to him on the rundown yet. Bobby Gossett in 10th. Jared Thomas in 9th. Justin Gravett in 8th. Jeremy Fletcher, yesterday's winner, in 7th. Max Stallone, rookie, in 6th, but not the best qualifying rookie. Grant West in the pit lane. There'll be a gap on the grid. Glenn McGee in 4th place. Justin Adeconis in 3rd. Ethan Jacobs, the top rookie, on the outside of the front row. And Julian DaCosta for BSI takes pole position. And we have a rolling number 50. That's the good news. The bad news for Grant West, he's going to start dead last. And we come to the green flag. It's in the air. This is a tight start. It looks absolutely fantastic as they come to the line. We've used about a minute and a half or 2 minutes of the 45, and we are underway. Immediately they fan out towards the downhill braking area, turn 4. In the mid-pack, there's 3, 4 wide, but the leaders are side by side. And as they go through, the grid has just completely changed from what I gave you, so I apologise for that on the screen. Let's pick up with what we can see with our own eyes, and I'm afraid, Shay, Adam, that the first thing we're going to report is JTR Racing's Ben Jacobs facing the wrong direction, and that, I'm afraid, is not the start he wanted.
No, and it's bad news for Ben Jacobs, but it's good news for Ethan Jacobs, who did take the green flag in second place, but was in first by the time they got to turn 4. So that is very good news for the Jacobs family, and I think they would forgive Ben for his little spin, considering that Ethan is out front. What a great start we had from the driver of the purple and blue and orange machine, and the other blue machine that we saw off the start, Grant West, into the pits. It was a left front tire change. He qualified 5th, which was an excellent effort, but starting dead last means maybe he's going to get the hard charger award. He's going to have a lot of cars to pass.
Well, he's got a lot of work to do, there's no doubt about that. Ethan Jacob, the rookie, leading across the line, as Shea rightly pointed out. Now, you might think, oh, has he been a bit lucky? Is it where he qualified? He ran all the way up with the leaders yesterday, and right now, he has got the number 95 of Julian DaCosta right behind him. Let's work out where this happened. Over the top of the roller coaster, he did the old, I'm going to stick it out on the outside of turn 4. That's where he took the lead. Now, was there a little touch there for the number 71? I think there was, and Ben Jacobs of JDH. Yes, it was. It was Brian Dombrowski, the Rocksteady racing car, and that's been noted, Shay Adam, by race control.
It has, and that's for race control to adjudicate and make a decision on whether there will be any penalties. There were post-race penalties that affected the standings after yesterday's race, including Julian DaCosta, our pole sitter for today's race. Julian was deemed at fault with another car on the racetrack. It cost him 10 grid places, but did not cost him the fastest lap, resulting in him getting the pole position and those very valuable 10 championship points going the way of the BSI driver. Unfortunately, it meant that the Penske Shocking Performance Award that he had won during the race, well, that was handed over to Ethan Lampy, because with that 10-second penalty, Julian then didn't pass as many cars as he had actually done on the racetrack, and there is smoke pouring out the right-hand side of one of the cars. I couldn't see which one it was, though. John, did you?
It could have been one of about 12, Shay, in the middle of the pack. Let's see if we can pick out what was going on. Yeah, a bit of contact. And in fact, a complete 360 spin. Von Mischko, right? Oh no, let's make that 720. Getting a perfect 10 from the style judge there, but losing a lot of real estate. And Vaughan's come straight into the pits. And we've got this again. Another false start, lining up in the wrong grid column. We had this yesterday. That's Ethan Tyler. Oh. Now, is that because Grant West was out of position? Did he somehow get in the wrong place? He was about that area on the grid, Shay.
That's exactly it, John, and that's what happens when someone has an issue, and it is Ethan Tyler whose car is smoking out the right-hand side, so a very bad day for Ethan, who's actually been having an excellent weekend. He's been very competitive here at Mid-Ohio, and this is not what the BSI crew would have wanted to see, as there's also smoke from Gresham Wagner out the left side of his car.
Left side and right side. No, that's too much of a coincidence. They both look like Michelin tyres being rubbed against Mazda bodywork. I don't think it's engine related. These 180 horsepower, 2 litre 4-cylinder normally aspirated engines are extremely reliable. They're running absolute street stock trim. Yeah, and both of those cars are, oh, and it's a puncture now. Left rear puncture because of that bodywork rubbing for Gresham Wagner. He's still going really well, but I saw chunks coming off that left rear Michelin tyre. Don't tell me it's still got air in it. I think it has, you know. That's incredible, but it will mean that he's going to have to come round and pit because that tyre does not have much more life in it. I find it remarkable that with so much bodywork rub, he's effectively ground a groove into it which shouldn't be there on the slick tyre. Meantime, at the front of the field, Julian Da Costa is back on the point. Just gone through past the two-tone blue. JTR Racing, Ethan has dropped down to now 4th position, so something's gone on there because Ethan's dropped back just a little bit. Let's see what's going on behind them. And once again, Shay, we are not getting any real breakaway here. What have we got? 15, 18 cars in that lead group.
And Da Costa leading his first lap of the race officially. Jeremy Fletcher is the car that came up into 2nd place as Ethan Tyler makes it into the pit lane. Gresham Wagner stayed out on the racetrack. But for Fletcher, yesterday's race was a giant sigh of relief. His grandmother, who normally comes to the races, every single one of the races, she had a leg amputated just a few days ago, and then they lost one of their family dogs. They had to put it down. It was a disastrous month of May, as it were, for the Fletcher family. Jeremy comes in this weekend as Gresham Wagner into the pits as well, by the way. Now he has made it around. But he came into the race this weekend and didn't have a good feeling from his race car. Well, they went back to his 2025 championship winning race car, and now Jeremy Fletcher happy once again out front. That's what Jeremy Fletcher knows when he is driving that black and blue Mazda.
Yeah, Ethan Tyler in the pits as well. That's right front, and they're basically just going to have to cut off, I think, some of that bodywork. Are they? Are they going to try and Bondo tape it on? There's a new Michelin tyre going on. Well, no idea what happened to Ethan Jacobs to get him down to 4th. Justin Adecona's 3rd. Jeremy Fletcher at 2nd. Julian Da Costa. Well, that's how it was when they crossed the line. But they're 3/4 of a lap further on now. So, of course, it's all changed again at the front of the field. Honestly, you look away for a second and you might as well have been watching a different race as they come to the line this time to complete lap number 5. Jeremy Fletcher now leads from Justin Adeconis, from Ethan Jacobs back up to 3rd, Jared Thomas to 4th. Julian Da Costa, who was leading, is now down in 5th. Bobby Gossett for BSI, another BSI car, 5th and 6th. He is in 6th. Glenn McGee, who was off the circuit at turn 1 just a lap ago in that gold JTR number 69, he holds on to 7th and parted along in 8th. Ethan Lambert is in 9th for Advance Autosport, and his teammate Matt Novak rounds off the top 10. Best of the rookies still Ethan Jacobs as the lead pack spread out once again. Jeremy Fletcher feels no need to defend Justin Adeconis or indeed Ethan Jacobs. So the yellow car, the yellow and blue car is Justin Adeconis. The blue, black and white car that leads, that is Jeremy Fletcher. The darkest, almost purple coloured car is Ethan Jacobs, and then Jared Thomas is in that classic colourway, which did I notice that Scott McLaughlin has picked that for his throwback livery this weekend up at St. Louis for IndyCar. That same very famous sponsorship livery. I don't think it's a throwback livery to Jared Thomas, by the way, as much as we'd like to credit Jared for that.
Oh, you
then
know
Julian
that Scotty
DaCosta
Mack is a massive Mazda fan.
Of course he is. Of course he is. He'd be here in a heartbeat. Justin Gravitz just put the fastest lap of the race in, down in 16th position. So on the end of that lead group, it's down to 1:35.876. Cam Ebden in the 55 is second quickest, and he's on the end of that group as well, a little bit further up in 10th place. Third best time, Marcello Panicia for the Michelin Racing, and Jared Thomas up in 4th. He's got the 4th best time, but there's absolutely nothing to choose. And as soon as you get a bit of a draft, that might change. And there is the draft for the aforementioned Jared Thomas. Comes down the inside of Ethan Jacobs. And now they're side by side over the top of the hill, plunging down. Who gets the inside line for the right-hander? Didn't work out that way. Jared, knowing these cars, knowing how they race, there's battles you pick, and there's battles that you can put to one side for later. And with 33.5 minutes still on the clock, Shay, Adam, the battles that you need to win are somewhere down the road.
Yeah, and speaking of winning battles, we mentioned Justin Gravitt in the Tunnel to Towers Foundation car. That's the number 8 who has set the fastest lap of the race so far. Just want to mention a run that will be taking place on September 13th to raise money for that organization. They do a lot regarding trying to take care of the families of the September 11th victims. That will be taking place September 13th in Medina. It's just up the road here, about an hour from Mid-Ohio. So if you do live close, or if you want to donate, go online, T2 as in the number T.org. It's a really good thing, and Justin and his family are trying to raise money for this organization this year by running the very patriotic livery on the side of that car. So it's always a good thing when you see Justin Gravitt running quickly at the front of the field. It is definitely a worthwhile cause.
In a shot for fastest lap, although that's just been nicked away from him by Tristan McKee for BSI Racing, down in 17th position. I think that is that's actually the start of the second group there. If I just look down through the timing as to where, he's right on the end of the lead group. So it is 17 cars, leading 3 with a little bit of a gap. But I'm not going to give them credit for that yet, because every time I did that yesterday, Shay, the gap closed so quickly. So effectively, we've got 17 cars down to BSI's Tristan McKee, and then he's got 1.6 seconds between himself and his teammate Kristen Hoddenland. And then Massimo Sunseri, another BSI Racing car, and then Emilio De Lauro, another BSI Racing car. They are the start of the next group. Top 3. As we saw yesterday, but this time in terms of trying to pull away, they're working together, but it's Jeremy Fletcher and Justin Adiconis. We've called their names before. Ethan Jacobs, the rookie, who is on the front row, he is absolutely learning every turn of the wheel, and he is right underneath the rear bumper of Justin Adiconis.
And I'm so impressed by what we have seen out of Ethan Jacobs, the young man who calls Oshkosh, Wisconsin home. A lot of Plain fans would know where Oshkosh is. He made his debut in the championship in 2024 at Mid-Ohio, finished 11th and 9th in his first 2 races, came back in 2025 to do both rounds at VIR, and then at Road Atlanta, Michelin Raceway Road Atlanta, not the easiest of tracks, he finished 2nd in the first race. Ethan Jacobs is a very quick learner, and yesterday we saw how he worked with the 2 JTR cars of Jared Thomas and Gresham Wagner. Today he's working with the 2 MMR cars. It doesn't matter who's around him. Ethan Jacobs is just a sponge out there. He's learning every single second that he can, and he's showing he has what it takes to be a front runner in this championship.
There are some very good restaurants around Oshkosh. Many years ago, in the early years of the American Le Mans Series, we were staying out there for what was then called the American Le Mans Series Radio Web for the fans. And for Road America, we stayed out there. It was a lovely drive out in that direction, and my goodness me, there were some very good eateries that we were getting back to in all hours of the evening. Beautiful part of the world in Wisconsin, and we'll be at Elkhart Lake later on in the year for IMSA Racing. Always
Not
a
for
huge
Mazda,
crowd
though.
out there. It's going to be one of the longer races. Not for Mazda, no, sadly, not this time. Can you imagine Mazda's coming back through the carousel and through the kink, probably 3 or 4 wide? Oh my goodness me! I'm not sure my heart could. I'm not sure my heart could take it. Front of the fields still Fletcher, Adiconis, and Ethan Jacobs, and that gap has grown to It's a second now, and now I am taking notice of that. But look who's on the front of the second pack, Shay. The two drivers that are there are Julian DaCosta and Jared Thomas. They will not want to see that particular trio getting away, so they're trying to kill the battles around them and get everyone to work together. That sounds ridiculous. They're racing drivers. Why would they want to work together? They're not even teammates, because if they don't, they are not in with a chance of the big points haul at the end. As soon as you get side by side, as soon as you start fighting, you are losing time here, Shit.
And let's point out, it's still half an hour to go in this race, near enough. 28.5 minutes remaining. We've had nothing happen eventful yet, because even Jeremy Fletcher, who has now led, now I can say it, 6 laps of this race, that's not enough to be considered a majority yet, so no points have been awarded. And speaking of points, points convert to real cash money at the end of the year. $250K for the champion, 85 for second place, 80 for rookie of the year. You get money every single race weekend. You get $6 grand for winning a race, pays all the way down to 10. That is cash. You can buy your crew a nice dinner for putting together a nice car, like what Jeremy Fletcher would have done for Dalton and company last night, but I think their celebrations might have been enough. It's Jared Thomas, championship leader. I've said those words every single year for the last 5 seasons, but Jared Thomas has a 90-point advantage as Woody Hyman has gone for a spin in the keyhole. I don't think Woody would have gotten there by himself. He's a local guy to this track, grew up motorcycle racing around here, came back just for this weekend because he loves the track so much. Hopefully he can get it in gear and moving again, but 90 points behind Jared Thomas is Justin Adakonis. 10 points behind him, Bobby Gossett, yesterday's championship points leader. As we get a view, good job, Woody. He managed to get the car out, and yep, he got a bit of help. That was the 89 of Ryan Leach, unfortunately. So Race Control will look at that and make a decision. 4th in championship after yesterday, Gresham Wagner. He's about 200 points off of his teammate, Justin Thomas. And in 5th, yesterday's race winner and the 2nd race win of the season for Jeremy Fletcher, but it's been so up and down that he is 260 points off of 1st. We talked about the rookie battle, John, and I just want to hit this really quickly because it is still Frankie Barroso leading, but he has a 60-point advantage over the guy who's been fighting for the lead of this race, one Mr. Ethan Jacobs. So the season is very much just kicking off.
Another BSI spinner, I'm afraid, down the field a little bit, but the number 15, the beautiful, I really like that livery on that Mazda. No harm, no foul. I'm very impressed, by the way, that Massimo Sanzeri got that pointing in the right direction, because he got a bit of help as well coming through turn 11. Even more impressive was Woody Hyman, because he was, I thought he was high centred. Massimo went for a wild ride there.
Yeah,
he's got
the worst part was, John, it was his
right and the left
who pushed him off the track. It was Christian Hodenland who gave him that little elbow check.
So we've stayed green. Jeremy Fletcher, Justin Adakonis, that lead 3. We had a moment or two ago when Shea was doing the rundown of the championship. Julian DaCosta, who's leading the second group, he did put the fastest lap of the race in, but Matt Novak has gone quicker still. We're talking fractions of a second. 1:35.474 for Matt. It was a 5:29 for Julian DaCosta. That was his fastest lap and the fastest lap of the race at the time. Coming down to half distance, 25 minutes still to go. So end of the next lap, we're going to be as near as makes no difference at half distance. We'll have completed 13 laps then. Matt Novak with another fastest lap. No, now Nathan Nicholson goes down to 35.3. This is hotting up, but the leaders have squeaked out to just over a second, and the fighting is going on behind. No, it's going on behind Julian DaCosta and Jared Thomas, but they drafted each other all the way up to the keyhole. Those two seasoned campaigners, as we mentioned, they want to get their heads down, stop the fighting that's going on around them, and try and close that second. It's all of a sudden gone up to 1.4 seconds between Julian and the leader, 1 second between himself and the back of that threesome. But right now, they're not fighting either, Shea. It's just a question of who else falls in behind. It's going to need help from Parker DeLong and Marcello Paniccia to bring them back, and that's exactly what's happening.
And we need to be careful, John, because just because drivers pop out of line like Parker DeLong just did to make a beautiful pass on Jared Thomas doesn't necessarily mean that they are either blocking or looking to make a move. I talked to so many drivers this morning who were saying that when they pop, it's to cool the cars off. These are sprint races, but it is muggy outside right now. It is not necessarily an enjoyable temperature with the track temp about 91 degrees at 10 o'clock this morning. It is hot out there, so everyone is popping to make sure that their engine temperatures stay within reason, and that's what we just saw from Justin Adiconis at that moment. For example, he was not looking to make a pass on his teammate Jeremy Fletcher. He was looking to just try and get the engine dial gauge maybe a little bit lower.
Well, and in fact, Ethan Jacobs in third position actually had a run there on second place, Justin Adiconis, and he actually dropped back in behind so that they didn't disadvantage themselves. But that second group of cars, led by Julian DaCosta and the Lightning McQueen alike, is coming, and they're pretty much back on. You said it was muggy. The air temperature is only 77. That's fine, but the humidity is 71% officially at the moment. So that is going to be sticky out there. Thank goodness for open top cars. Oh, yeah. And by the way, the top 17 are all back together again. Half distance.
Do we run the course backwards now?
Yeah, well, that's right. You were listening to our tuner and I were just come into the pit lane, double back around, and come back out in the other direction. You know, why not?
I'm sure there are many safety reasons as of why not.
Oh, yeah. There are actually, quite seriously, there are a couple of tracks in the UK that have the track license to run both ways. Brands Hatch used to on the, what's now called the Indy circuit. I'm not sure that it still has, but I'm pretty sure Knockhill up in Scotland, Peter Mackay's neck of the woods, I'm pretty sure that's still licensed to run both ways, and that is quite unusual because, of course, a safety feature that works, let's say, clockwise, sometimes doesn't work when it's counterclockwise, anti-clockwise. But there are one or two in the world that do that. Just imagine, I was just thinking back there to the 1970s when in Scandinavia they switched from driving on the proper side of the road like we do in the UK on the left at 10 o'clock in the morning or whatever time it was. They switched to driving on the other side of the road, and they changed all the road signs overnight, and basically they woke up the next day and had to drive on the other side of the road. Just get your head around that for a moment. Nope. Meantime, we're into the second half of this race.
And unfortunately,
it's bad enough when everybody's driving on the wrong side of the road when you come over here.
Hey, I don't mind it. I like the challenge. It gets rid of jet lag pretty darn quick when you have to remember that you're driving on the other side and you have to look right at every intersection. It definitely gets you going better than any espresso does. Yep, I still will remember Joe Bradley always telling me that. But Jared Thomas, I'm a little worried about him because he keeps dropping backwards. He's down to P7 at this point, and he was fighting with Bobby Gossett. It seemed like he managed to get things under control once again, though, and stabilized in 7th with Glenn McGee, his sister car, right behind him. Now, that's good news as far as Jared is concerned, because now he has a bit of a tail gunner and he can focus on moving forward again. But again, we need to just temper ourselves because there's 20 minutes to go in this race. We've only had 25 minutes elapsed. Jeremy Fletcher has led 11 laps. I feel confident in saying no one will lead more than 11 laps. Confident, but not ready to award him the 10 bonus points just quite yet.
15 laps completed at just over half distance. Fletcher happy at the moment to be leading out. Justin Adiconis sitting in behind his teammate, and right now Ethan Jacobs is playing that same game. We've got 2 sets of 3, then a 2, then the battle pack behind them, and for the first time, I was going to say first time an opportunity, but I don't think so. I think Justin Adiconis again, as Shay was saying, just pulling out to get some air across the radiator at the front of that 2-litre 180 horsepower Mazda engine. Ethan Jacobs sits in third, but he's got company now, Julian Da Costa. Now, what does Julian do? He's dragged another 3, 4, 5 cars into this lead battle. Does he sit there, or does he immediately try and improve his position? Just on 19 minutes to go. We'll complete lap 16 as we come down to the carousel again now, and then through the tricky little left-hander onto the front straight. Nobody's using the inside curb there, the left curb there this year. We've seen people launch themselves across there in the past. Through turn 1, super important to get turn 1 right. Use every bit of the road you can, but none of the grass. There's a little depression, and then you start to climb and climb and climb. Da Costa comes up, has a look, pulls back in again. Now we're going to go back to a few laps where people are sparring, are we, Shea? Is that what's happening? 18 minutes out. I'm intrigued by this. There's so much going on without any positions changing. Oh, hang on. And as I say that, Justin Adaconis will go to the lead, being pushed there with a little bit of bump drafting. But Jeremy Fletcher wants to stay in second behind his teammate, and Ethan Jacobs doesn't want to let him. They're side by side over the top of turn 5. Now dropping down, it'll be Fletcher on the inside to the right-hander, but it's not over yet. Ethan Jacobs, listed as a rookie, races like a veteran. Fletcher holds on to second, but he had to fight for that, and there's a gap opened up between the leader, who is now Justin Adaconis, and his teammate. Brilliant battling, and a bit more off-roading a moment or two ago, Shea.
Ooh, that was the 34 that was going for a bit of a wild ride further back. That's a very sketch moment for John Salerno, a guy who was second in the Rookie of the Year standings coming into yesterday's race. He did manage to keep it going. Maybe he heard you talking about Mazda Cross yesterday, John, and the idea that we need some MX-10s out around the track just, tethered together. But seeing what kind of off-roading capabilities we have. The second group, though, that's the bit that I'm kind of watching warily in the background. Glenn McGee is in no man's land, but then Matt Novak is leading the pack, and in that group, you've got drivers such as Max Stallone, Ethan Lampy, Bobby Gossett, the championship leader coming into yesterday, Frankie Barroso, the Rookie of the Year points leader, and Nathan Nicholson. What can they do to work together to get back to the front? Because if they can, any one of those 6 cars can win this race. As Jared Thomas is off.
Switch to the right, to the left, and Jared Thomas, in trying to go down the inside, unsettled the car. He tried to switch back to the left-hand side and lost the back of the car, got on the grass. The grass is the slippy stuff. It will be a full course yellow, 16 and a quarter to go. And Jared Thomas, what happened there for him to swerve so immediately to the left-hand side? He was throwing it down driver's right. And Jared Thomas normally does not make mistakes like that. Was there a little clip? Did something happen to him? Had he realised he was going in too hot and tried to not take anyone out? If that is the case, that was a very courageous piece of driving and respectful piece of driving. He's done damage all the way across the back of the car. The AMR safety team are there already, and he's beached down in that big gravel trap at turn 4. They're already putting the toe strop on the front, and the teleloader is there.
And
full
John,
course yellow.
Was our championship leader, and I say was because Jared is going to get 10 points from today. And even if Justin Adaconis, Bobby Gossett, Jeremy Fletcher, even if they all fall off the racetrack and have bad days, it's not going to be as bad as the points gain for Jared Thomas. So a man who has once found victory lane in this series here at Mid-Ohio will be lucky.
Let's have a look. So he goes down the inside. I think he realised, Shea, that he wasn't going to make it and tried to back out of it, but turned to the left and just couldn't keep the car on the grey. Grey is grippy, green is slippy, and my goodness, did Jared Thomas not find out that the hard way there? I didn't see any contact between himself and the cars he was running with. I do think he was throwing it down the inside, and possibly he just thought he couldn't make it and tried to get out without taking out a whole bunch of cars. But in doing so, in some ways, he might have sacrificed himself there, Shay.
Yeah, I'd be really curious to have a conversation with Jared, which I will do after this race, and find out, was the move from Parker DeLong when he dove down the inside, was that a little bit too much? Did he feel of a block move? Not saying it was a block move, but is that what Jared read it as? And then in his response was to move back across the racetrack to driver's left to try and go around the outside, where, as you rightly point out, there's not as much grip where he possibly thought there would have been. But that was a very scary incident for Jared, a guy who's very accomplished around this track.
Wow, and my goodness me, he nearly picked up that bright gold machine as well. I was... Did the car actually go over there?
I think it might have gone over.
In the dust at the end. My goodness me. He just didn't seem to slow down, even when he was on the racing surface. And that's a very odd one for me. If he, I mean, Glenn McGee was right in there. He would have had a good view of it. But I've not seen anything like that from a driver as experienced as Jared. What I will say, he walked out of the car without needing any assistance. So all the safety features of these purpose-built race cars certainly did their job there. But he didn't look annoyed. He didn't look back at the car as if there was a failure either. No. There was just almost an acknowledgement, you know, well, that's my mistake.
I am getting confirmation, by the way, from several sources. Jared Thomas did roll, so we couldn't see it through all the cloud of dust, but that's not the first time that we have had that happen at that point on the racetrack. The good news that we can say, yes, he got out of the car himself unaided. And the good news as far as Jeremy Fletcher would be concerned, nobody will lead more laps than he has, because with this yellow neutralizing the race, something we didn't have much of yesterday at all. We had one car go off on its own and just need a quick bit of recovery. This is the cleanest weekend we have had of Whelen Mazda MX-5 Cup racing in a long time. Hats off to all of our drivers. And I was mentioning in the paddock earlier this weekend that maybe we needed to have a water balloon fight when we get to Virginia International Raceway, so people could take out their aggression on each other off the racetrack. I think maybe it's worked. So guys, I will put forth, I will go out and buy water balloons for all y'all if you'll keep this up the next race we have, which is at Canadian Tire Motorsport Park in about a month's time.
Charlotte Trainer, our biggest mover at the moment. She's in 22nd, up 13 positions for Parker DeLong Racing. Another one of the half the field that is new to the championship this year, officially rookies. The Whelen MX-5 safety car bringing them round with just under 11 minutes to go. The track services and the MR safety crew and the recovery just being very careful about how they recover that car to make sure that they could get it away safely and securely. But that was a very scary moment. Just to underline, Justin Thomas, Jared Thomas jumping out of the car or getting out of the car when he was asked to do so. He managed to do that and walked away through that sandy gravel bed. Here's how they run then, with just on 10 minutes to go. We'll see when we go back racing, maybe in a lap's time, maybe a lap and a half. The safety car lights are still on. Just an added corner leads from Jeremy Fletcher, the two Michelin racing cars. Ethan Thomas has been in third for a very long time and has been playing the waiting game. There may not be time to do that when we restart. Julian DaCosta, one of a number of drivers at the sharp end of the field, in fact through the field, who've had fastest laps at one stage or another during this race, and the safety car lights have just gone off. Then Marcello Paniccia in where it's that 5th position for the Michelin Racing. Parker DeLong and his PDR Racing car in 6th now. 7th for Glenn McGee. Matt Novak, 3rd of the rookies in the field. He's in 8th. Top 10 made up by Max Stallone, another rookie, and Bobby Gossett for position number 10. This has brought everybody back together just outside the top 10. Frankie Barroso leading the Rookies Championship, and Nathan Nicholson's got the fastest lap of the race in the Advanced Autosport, number 56. He's in 12th position at the moment. All bets are off. All handshakes are off. It's every driver for themselves. 8 minutes and 40 seconds or thereabouts as we come to the line and go green, green, green for the run to the flag, the run to the point, and the run for the dollars. 6,000 of them up for grabs for the winner here, and a dollar payout right down to 10th position. Justin Adeconis got the perfect start. Jeremy Fletcher having to defend from Ethan Thomas, who pulls out. This time he does take the opportunity down the inside. He's been pushed by Julian DaCosta in the 95 car. Behind him, the 38 is Marcello Paniccia, and he's pushing him through as well. How they all got through the keyhole with so much contact there going into the braking area. But it is Adeconis who's pulling away. This battling behind him isn't helping anybody. Through comes Ethan Jacobs, being pushed by DaCosta, and for a moment it's 3 wide. And Jacobs is going the long way around at turn 4. He'll have the inside for turn 5 as he climbs the hill. He might be going from 3rd to 2nd to 1st and holds on to it. Can Adeconis come back down the inside? He can't. And the rookie who started on the front row, led early on, is back to the front. I said she'd been biding his time, and he obviously thinks it's go time now, and he has pushed the button.
That loud cheering you just heard was Ashlyn and Eli, his sister and brother-in-law, watching back in Wisconsin, very happy to see their little brother doing so well as Ethan Jacobs leads an MX-5 Cup race on talent, on merit, but it's not over yet. 7 minutes to go. Justin Adeconis in 2nd, Julian DaCosta in 3rd.
Parker DeLong has been given a drive-through penalty. A judge to be blocking in that incident with Jared Thomas, and he'll come through the pit lane and give up their spot. Well, that might be worth having a look at. Again, the decision's been made. It's not going to be changed. You mentioned it, that the blue car might have moved in response to the dive down the inside by the red and white Jared Thomas car. 6.5 to go. I suspect the team will be having a chat about that with race control, but they seldom change their minds on these things. It was at this part of the circuit that it all happened, and with 3 wide again, and DaCosta comes down the inside. He's going to improve his position by 1. Can he get 2? No, he can't, and now he's moved out to the outside again. He's back in 3rd for a moment. DaCosta trying to hold on, but at the front of the field, Justin Adeconis has gone back to the lead. You might as well just roll the dice and guess which number is going to be at the front of the field.
And there was chaos behind as Glenn McGee got pushed off the track coming into turn 5. He speared across, knocked out Bobby Gossett, the guy who was leading the championship coming into today's race. Bobby was ironically the one who actually pushed Glenn off the racetrack. Bobby got spun around. Glenn was able to keep going. Bobby got it pointed in the right direction. Ethan Lampy took evasive action. He too went off the track. Mild chaos erupting with 5.5 minutes to go, and our leader is Justin Adeconis with Ethan Jacobs right behind. There's 4 different teams represented in the top 6 cars. I do not think Parker DeLong will serve that drive-through penalty, by the way. I would imagine he will stay out on the racetrack and argue after the race.
The problem with that is he's going to go past the start-finish line more than 3 times, and he might get a total black flag and be pulled out of the race, and at that point there's nothing left to argue. That is the issue there. Well, you wonder why for just a 45-minute race we have 2 sets of eyes in the booth. That's because for Whelen Mazda MX-5 Cup presented by Michelin, just doing it on your own is, you can't watch it all at the same time. We were watching a battle for the lead, and Shea was watching the battle and the incident further back down. Brilliant pickup by Shea Adam, and at the same part of the circuit again, leading contenders have gone out.
Teammates.
And by the way, go ahead, Shea, go on.
That was teammates, because Jeremy Fletcher and Marcello Panicia were very,
Again.
very elbows towards one another, and Marcello pushed Jeremy off the track. Jeremy was having none of that. By the time they came into turn 5, both cars were pointing well off the racing line, and it was Panicia who was nosed into the tires. Not entirely sure how happy Chad McCumbee and Stephen McAleer will be about that moment, but yeah, Panicia just not leaving Jeremy Fletcher quite enough room, and Jeremy deciding to extract his own revenge. Yesterday's race winner will not be today's race winner, but it is still an MMR car leading the way, as Adakonis has a bit of a gap over Ethan Jacobs.
And Max Stallone's going to be looked at as well for the earlier incident that he was involved with. This could be a very provisional set of results at the end, as we've had another spinner further back down the field. The all-grey number 30. Oh, no. It's Charlotte Traynor who'd made up all those positions for Parker DeLong Racing in the grey, white and dark red car. She was the biggest mover, just 6 or 7 laps ago, and now has to recover at the front of the field. Right, take a breath. Some of the same players are there. Justin Adakonis, Ethan Jacobs, Julian DaCosta and Parker DeLong are still in with a fight. Parker DeLong in 4th position with the drive-through penalty having been assessed on him. Behind them, Max Stallone. He's been investigated at the moment. The 2 teammates, the McCumbee-McAleer cars that we talked about, they're having that contact under review as well. Who's that behind Max Stallone? It's Matt Novak, isn't it? In the Advanced Autosports car. So the top 6 now, with 2 of those drivers potentially under investigation or getting even more penalties. But there are 6 cars for 3 steps on the box. 2 minutes 13 to go. They will get the white flag next time by. And Justin Adakonis, how do you play it if you're him at the moment? Ethan Jacobs, I reckon he's played an absolute blinder. These rookies, as we said yesterday, so much racecraft, so much experience now, Shea.
I really want to know what Justin Adakonis' mom's heart rate monitor is saying, because the last time she was watching him race, not at the racetrack, it said that she should go to the hospital. The rate was so high. So she came to St. Pete, where she saw her son win his first Whelen MX-5 Cup championship race. Well, right now, ma'am, your son is doing everything he needs to get victory in his second, but it is not quite done yet. It is still fully on, and the pit lane has been very busy the last couple of laps. We've had Christian Hodenland come in, we had Tristan McKee come in. Both of those BSI cars got service and left. And just while we're talking about the pit lane, I want to give a shout out to Rick Jones, one of our pit officials who's normally here week in and week out. He's at home after having knee surgery. Rick, we're thinking about you. We hope you're back with us for Mosport, but if you're not, we'll be bringing you all the coverage live and online, and you won't want to miss a second of it, because still 1 minute to go. John, I don't know who's going to win this one. Do you?
Not a clue. You'd think it would come from the first 6, but let's just look to 7th position. Nathan Nicholson is has the fastest lap of the race, and you might think that's ridiculous. He's never going to make up that ground. No, he's not going to make up that ground, but this lot could all end up in the gravel the way this one has been going. It could be that kind of 2.4 miles or thereabout. The white flag is being waved energetically as ever from our start to stand, climbing the hill for the final time. Justin Adakonis, best place, worst place, you be the judge. He's got 5 other Mazda MX-5s right behind them. By the way, we talked about the MX-10 yesterday. If we're going to do MX-5 Rallycross, then surely it's RX MX, isn't it? There you go. Ooh. I've just given you another one. Coming down the hill, you like that, don't you? I like RX MX-5. I think it's brilliant. Coming down to turn 4. Here's an opportunity for the lead to change. Is it too early in the lap? Will there be strategies played? Well, Ethan looks down the inside, and the young Jacobs goes through. He's taken the lead. He's taken the lead with half a lap to go. Now notice we are not getting super excited here, as behind almost inevitably there's contact. The 6 become 4. DaCosta is side by side with Parker DeLong. That could be a battle for the 3rd spot on the podium, but Jeremy Fletcher has not given, Justin Adaconis has not given it up and goes down the inside at 9. That is a huge manoeuvre, power pass from Adaconis. Can you believe that? Only in Whelen Mazda MX-5 do you get those passes. That was extraordinary. I said we weren't going to get excited when the lead changed at 4, but we can get excited now because that is the pass that has taken Justin Adaconis back to the front of the field and will win him the second race here at Mid-Ohio for Michelin Racing. Ethan Jacobs on the podium, Parker DeLong with a drive-through penalty assessed on him in 3rd place, Julian DaCosta in 4th, Max Stallone looking at a potential penalty as well. And the 0, 9 and 9 further back after that incident. Damon Oakey involved in an incident with Vaughan Mishko. That's been looked at as well. Very, very provisional.
Yes.
As they come back down through turn number 4. My goodness me, we expect excitement, but that was turned up to 11, Shea Adam.
That was a championship-winning move from Justin Adaconis. We have seen a different driver this year behind the wheel of the 23. 2 victories out of 6 races for Justin. And a move like that, if he can keep doing that week in and week out, that will net him $250,000 at the end of the year. He was patient,
look at this,
decisive, brilliant.
There's the power pass at turn 9. Set it up in the previous corner, got a good run through that S-bend section, and I don't think Ethan did anything wrong. I absolutely don't think Ethan Jacobs did anything wrong. I don't think he could have closed the door any earlier, but what a run. Last third of the lap, and Michelin leads JDH and Parker DeLong Racing. That hasn't changed as yet, so let's see if that drive-through penalty is going to change. That's very, very interesting. That I would have thought that would have been converted into a time penalty. Shea Adam will do some mental arithmetic as I give you the very provisional Mazda unofficial results. Justin Adaconis, what a race. What a race. What a pass to take a victory. That, as Shea rightly says, is a pass worthy of taking someone to a championship. Ethan Jacobs, the best of the rookies. He's not racing like a rookie. He is racing like a veteran for JTH Racing. And 3/10 at the end is actually quite a big gap, almost 4. Parker DeLong Racing, won't he be on that podium with the drive-through? And as we run through the rest of the runners and riders, we can take a little bit of a breath. Max Stallone in 4th, Matt Novak, another rookie, in 5th, Cam Eben in 6th, 7th, Frankie Barroso, our rookie leader, coming in this weekend. 8th, Nathan Nicholson with the fastest lap points, Samilo Delaro in 9th, and Justin Gravitt in 10th. Charlotte Trainer just missed out on getting the most passes, so my goodness me. Now I see that we have had a change in the results. So the results have been changed. They didn't serve the penalty within 4 start-finish line stop plus 60. Car 3 got a 60-second penalty post, 10 seconds penalty post race as well. So that's Max Stallone who's taking a penalty as well. So I reckon that puts Julian DaCosta onto the podium. So the revised results then say Justin Adaconis and Ethan Jacobs ahead of Julian DaCosta, and then it'll be Matt Novak, Cam Eben, Frankie Barroso, Nathan Nicholson with a raft of penalties coming in, Emilio De Lauro, Justin Gravitt and Logan Stretch. Just time for Shea Adam to tell me who's leading the championship and the Rookies Championship.
very provisionally, Justin Adaconis has more than a 200-point advantage over second place in the season-long championship, and Ethan Jacobs is our championship leader for the rookies.
Oh my goodness me, what a race. Thank you to Shay, Adam and our production team. We'll be back for the rest of the Mazda season.